Hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly Zoom meetup of the Phrancko Sweater Knitters. Phrancko is unavailable today, so we are having the meeting, and I'm here to welcome you all. I'm Ron Timpson there. We say hello. Hello, Wally.
Hello, Ron.
Hello, Sumner.
Hi.
Et bonjour, Judith.
Bonjour, Tim et Ron et tout le monde.
Hello, Sidra.
Hello.
And hello, William.
Hi, Ron. Hi, everybody.
And hello, Cindy.
Hi, Ron. Hi, everybody.
And hello to Serena, who is a photo, but here with us.
Yes, hello.
Yes, hello, Serena. And is that all of us today?
So far.
Okay. Let's make sure we greet anyone else who comes in later. Well, how is everyone this week?
Great.
Good.
Good. Yeah.
Beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Life is good. Yes, it's wonderful. Wonderful. Sun, just a little wind, not too hot, not cold. Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
So I'm staying inside and I knit.
Amazing.
Perfect weather to enjoy knitting indoors while thinking about how you should get out more.
Oh, well,
Last week at about this time, I was in a dead sleep.
Aw.
My week caught up to me. So I just put myself into sleep mode and then
Oh, wow.
came back sometime 24 hours later.
Oh my
no,
gosh.
no.
Wow.
It's good to see everyone now.
Well, you had a real big week just a couple weeks ago of local yarn store week and
Yes.
trying to
Yeah.
get everything dyed and do everything.
Yes, and then
That's
immediately
right.
on the heels of that was the grand reopening of the theater that I work at.
Yeah.
That production is ongoing in its second week now, but that stretch through the final inspections from the city and county into getting the show open, into sleeping for approximately 24 hours, 36 maybe.
Oh,
But now I feel more normal, except not asleep, which is probably more normal for me.
Well, that's good.
yeah. It's good that you can sleep that long.
I don't have a problem sleeping that long. It's
I
being
guess.
awake that's the trick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. I of course love the Kelborn yarn
Oh, yes.
that I got. Love. But boy, I gotta work out some colors.
In fact, you were on our mind this week because we had a meeting with one of our distributors to see a bunch of new yarns coming in. It's the time of year where you start seeing all of the fall, winter new yarns.
Yeah.
And placing those orders. And Tim we were left with a couple of samples that Tim knit up. And in these cases, we're just like, this is another Sumner yarn.
Huh?
Uh-oh.
You want to see? Here,
Oh yeah.
or that ball over there. This is Cusco from Mirasol.
Okay.
Wow.
Beautiful
Oh,
blue.
that's nice.
Yes.
It is a beautiful blue. It's just as like vibrant and glossy in person, and it's just an incredibly springy. Tim, could you hand me that full skein of it?
Yeah.
What's the gauge?
It's a DK
Oh, okay.
2-ply.
Beautiful.
It looks like it's got a nice twist to it.
It has a very good.
Sometimes they're a little bit too loosey-goosey.
Yeah, no, this one. Well, you can see.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. This has come a little bit unspun at the ends from just being the tail that hangs out. But maybe in that you can see its ply angle a little
Yeah.
better.
Mm.
Means
Yeah, the
anything
angle
nice.
looks nice.
Oh, that is beautiful.
The more twisty a yarn is, the closer the angle of the plies get to horizontal.
Yes.
Because two unplied plies of yarn just hang together perfectly vertically. So the more spun there is, that angle increases. But it's a 100% Corriedale.
Aha.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh
nice.
my gosh, how nice.
It's
Oh, wow.
just
hmm.
smudgy is the best word I have to describe it. It's just that woolly, springy. It's beautiful. I love it. And
From from what company?
you see that? Mirasol.
Mirasol.
Sorry,
Yeah.
you said it.
Mirasol Chusku.
Okay.
Boy, that's beautiful.
It's
Interesting.
Yeah.
beautiful. And this is a new offering, one of a few, but the one that we got a sample of to keep and play with from Jody Long coming up. And it's a 50% merino llama.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Look at that.
Oh,
Wow.
that's so nice.
Llama. These swatches are unblocked, by the way.
Oh,
That's
wow.
why they're behaving this way.
Yeah.
But to give you an
Okay.
idea of how energetic the yarn is, that's how it's behaving.
Yeah,
Oh, it's beautiful.
Unblocked.
very nice.
This guy.
Very nice.
I don't know. Tim knit these swatches. What did you think, Tim?
I liked them both.
He liked
I liked the first one best.
Chusku.
Yeah, I liked
The
Chusku the
Corriedale.
best. The llama yarn, my fingers are a little rough, so it kind of caught on my fingers a little bit. But it was really soft and really nice, and I enjoyed working with it too.
Because llama's a hair, right? But it's very fine. I don't know if you can see.
Both are DK or?
It's got a light. They're both DK. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just, again, the gloss, it's got great structure, great drape. So particularly when we're getting this, when we were working this up and looking at these skeins, we're like, "That's another thunder yarn right there."
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
It's wool, just like all the best quality.
So do you have to get that or what do you have in stock?
It's coming. It's a yarn for the fall, winter.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So
I'm on a mailing list, I hope.
don't worry, I will make sure to let you know when it comes in. So I think August to September is generally when we start getting fall yarns in. So we got
In that
exciting stuff.
particular blue, Ron.
It's a beautiful blue.
Yes.
So, hey, Ron, when you're doing your swatches, and you soaked them and blocked them, do you pin them down? You just lay them out?
We lay them out.
Okay.
Because they're gonna wind up hanging. And I want to give an idea of how the yarn would behave in like a garment you weren't doing anything special to, like when it's worn. So we don't block it perfectly square. We just flatten it into more or less the shape it wants to be and let it dry.
Okay. Because this Tuesday, I'm going to be spending the whole day in San Francisco at the airport, sitting around. So I was going to I'm bringing 3 skeins of yarn with me to make 3 swatches.
Oh, fun.
So we'll see, we'll see.
Yeah. So when we block them, we just soak them for between 20 minutes and 48 hours. It depends on whether we remember they're in the coffee mug. Sometimes they stay in there all weekend.
And then they bleed depending on the yarn.
Yes.
Right?
Sometimes they don't at all. Like, wow, that was a hand dye, and that was in there from Sunday afternoon until Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday.
Oh,
afternoon,
wow.
and nothing happened. Yeah, we just wet them, squeeze them with normal blocking, but no pinning or anything. Just
Okay.
letting it behave how it naturally wants to behave.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I missed a whole week of what everyone's projects are now. Someone must have new stuff going on. No, never mind.
Too bad.
I will share
It's been a
mine.
great week, everyone.
I will share mine. I'm still working on the blanket.
Please.
Oh yeah, cool.
Oh, very nice.
I love this project.
Oh, wow, look at
Yeah, great project.
that.
It's so fun to see it grow.
I know, and
Yeah.
that's all I've been,
Yeah.
that's all, I should be working on Kathy's Angelica sweater, you know, but it's like, it's still sitting on the chair next to me and I haven't touched it in like a week or two.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So
It
out
is.
here, I'm making my sock.
Oh yeah,
Closing the toe,
almost done.
traditional heel
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Hmm.
I
on
love those
zeros
colors.
in
Oh my
honor of Jenny.
god.
That's on zeros. It's beautiful.
I accidentally started a hat on zeros this week.
Oh, wow.
Because they were-
Accidentally.
They were in
Accidentally.
my needle organizer in the wrong thing. And
Okay.
I wouldn't have been able to easily read the number on it if it were on a tube.
Yeah.
So I just like had a needle and I got the brim of the hat I was working on done. It's why is this so small? It should not be this small with this stitch count. And I was like, what am I even? Oh, they're on. It's on ones or zeros. Yeah, a pair of zeros snuck in to my
Yeah.
pulled
So
that.
I love the Kelborn wool, but I'm still looking for something a little bit smaller that I could knit on a sweater on ones or even zeros.
Oh my God.
You have
Good.
camper there.
Yeah. Faith the Camper, it really liked knitting up on threes.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. I'm blocking it now. It's all wet. It's still in the water, but I do love the wool. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
You don't happen to have any bright blue on that one, do you?
Bright blue in
The Kelborn,
Kelborn.
small.
I can show you Kelborn's very finest yarn in case you're interested in their products in general, but I'll go take a look. I'll leave you
Okay.
in his hands.
Because for knitting on zeros to do a sweater, Sumner, wouldn't that be a lace weight yarn?
It kind of would be a lace weight yarn, but
Yeah.
I don't want a lot of halo and like a lot of the.
So you don't
I
want a
guess
fuzzy
traditional-
lace. You don't want a
Yeah.
fuzzy lace. You want
Right.
more of a slick lace.
A slicker, finer, almost like a sock weight would be fine.
Almost like sewing
Yeah.
thread, right? Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And this is actually cotton sewing thread. So.
Basically, yeah.
almost like sock
But
yarn,
it's
but without
about
the
the
nylon.
right size.
Yeah, I want like a sock yarn without the nylon.
Well, no, there are some sock
Hey, don't
yarn
they still
that-
make
that
sock yarn
don't
without
have-
nylon?
Without nylon, they do have
Yeah.
some
We
Yeah.
string like that.
Just haven't found it.
That's the most saturated.
Oh,
of the-
that's beautiful.
Oh, that's a pretty one.
Yeah.
Its hue is slightly more cyan than this. It's slightly
Yeah.
Mhm.
slightly darker, but still quite high.
So
chroma.
what's the weight on that one? That one looks pretty fine.
It's a
That's like
super
a
fun.
sport. Isn't that sport?
Nope.
No, it's
Oh, that's super
it's like
fine.
a
Yes, but it has a lot of body because of when it's just sitting because of the twist of this and the I suppose it's still called drafting, the fiber prep. It's machine spun, of course, but it is a woolen spun, so it is very, very lofty. But it's intended to be knit down.
Yeah.
Or up.
Yeah.
This could stand to knit a transitional garment on sixes,
Mhm.
or a pair of like hard wearing mittens or something on zeros. Yeah, this is there. Tim, can you get a skein of cricket from the other end?
That's called cricket.
This is camper.
no.
Oh, that's camper. Yeah, I know
Sure.
camper. That's
Cricket
Camper's
is
the one that I
cricket is
have.
on Zula.
I'll show you the DK. There is an Anzula called cricket.
Mm,
Oh, okay.
Oh wait,
okay.
no. Am I thinking of cricket?
I don't know. I thought that there's an Anzula called cricket. I don't know what the
There
weight
is.
but there is an Anzula cricket.
No, I'm not thinking of Andorra. Okay, I'll be right back.
I know. Will, what are you working on?
I am working on this same sock that I have been working on for months now, and that I've
Oh,
shown
yeah.
you all.
Gorgeous.
That is such a
sock.
gorgeous
Real
Oh,
time.
pattern.
nice. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
do. Let me turn this up there.
It's gorgeous. I bought that
Yeah.
pattern.
Stunning.
Yeah, I
Because
love
of
it.
you.
It's
Mm.
aw, yeah.
They owe you.
And this is the second sock,
Mhm.
so I
Oh, so you're
mean the other one's
close.
done,
You're
and
close. You're
I'm
close.
over 75%. I've got both heels done. I just have to finish the cuff of this and the top, the ribbing at the top.
Will, will you show the inside
Sure, let
of
me
it
get the
just a
one
little
that's
bit?
finished and pull that one out, because that'll be easier to turn inside out than the one on the needles.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, here's the inside.
Oh, very nice.
Oh my gosh.
That is
Oh,
it's
wow.
so neat and tidy.
Wow.
I'm on twos, US twos, magic loop.
World reports.
Mhm.
Sorry.
That's beautiful. Well, very nice.
Thank you.
Here it was Scout. They do have a yarn called Cricket, which I will show you in a minute. It's a fingering weight tweed. So this is woohoo, Scout,
Okay.
the DK
Oh, wow.
version,
Okay.
compared to Camper, the Superfine.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, because I got camper, I got two skeins, and I'm gonna make a hat out of it. But I thought the colors would be slightly different than what I got, and it's fine. It's not a big deal. I'll make one of those two-tone hats that folds in on itself.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Mhm, mhm.
Muscle burrow, right?
Muscle burrow,
Yeah.
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 That's just such a very forgiving pattern. It's like a
Yeah.
recipe, almost like a Phrancko, where you just get a good gauge and then you know what to cast on and you just make the hat.
You just go.
Yep.
Where does that name come from? That's such an unusual name.
I think it's somewhere in Scotland, because the designer Isolde Teague, I believe she's Scottish or lives in Scotland. I don't know if she's from Scotland, but I'm pretty sure she lives there. So I think it's somewhere in Scotland, but that's the extent of my knowledge about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the best hat though.
Yeah.
Ron,
Well-
going back to when you were talking about how the yarn was spun,
Mhm.
woolen is like poofy, right? Because the fibers are just kind of, they go all they're brushed, but they're kind of all go every way.
Yeah.
And then worsted is not just a weight, it's the way it's actually prepared. It is there, all the fibers are aligned.
Mhm.
And so it will give a kind of a crisper definition, maybe even for cables and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is
The
that
yarns
right?
are-
Or do I get it
Yarns are
backwards?
harder wearing. They're less prone to pilling, but they're also not as soft in the hand. So
Right.
for a lot of people who shop with their hands, they don't feel as nice. Or depending, and there are intermediates as well. So presenting these as like two distinct types of yarn, they're woolen yarns and worsted yarns.
Mhm.
But from like there are different ways to spin different kinds of fiber preps, and some combination of the two. So there are some yarns that are otherwise a worsted spun. The fibers are nicely aligned, but they're offset enough that they have a halo that isn't caused by the type of fiber. Or
Right.
and hand spinners can of course take a worsted fiber prep, a nice combed top, and spin it from the fold, or spin it
Oh yeah, do it. You can do it however you
in a
want.
long draw, which is normally how you would do
Yeah.
a woolen prep. And so they're in betweenies. But Yeah, so this is, whoa. Getting to know what types of yarn are good for what types of projects, and like knit down at the same gauge. A worsted spun yarn is liable to be heavier. The garment will literally have more mass because there's more fiber. All the air has been squeezed out of it. So to get the same diameter of yarn, the same grist of yarn, there's literally more fiber in it because there's more air in the woolen. The difference between eating what you would call ice cream and what you would call gelato.
Ron,
That's a good comparison.
you've mentioned a couple of times knitting down and knitting up. What does that mean to yarn?
Oh, that's how I refer to the relationship of what you're knitting or what you're knitting on, the tools you're using, to what's suggested on the label.
Okay, so what size needle you're going to use?
Yes, yeah. So if you take something like a fingering weight yarn and make a summer top out of it by knitting it up on a 6, or you take and make a pair of like impermeable mittens by taking a worsted weight and knitting it down on a 4.
Okay.
For example. Yeah.
That's kind of what I thought.
I accidentally knit this down on a 0.
Ah,
I'm working
Oh,
on
that's
So it's going to be a very strong baby hat, right?
yes.
So I become kind of fascinated by dithering this week and like old computer graphics.
C'est beau.
In case you've been following Windows 95
nice.
Man on Eurovision. I don't know.
Mm.
So dithering is a way of like old computer graphics where you had a limited number of colors and you just introduce noise into them to make them look like you have a gradient. So this each set of this pattern is a 4x4 square that repeats, and each level of it has one more pixel
Pixel.
of the oncoming color.
Of color in it.
Wow.
So it's like a 16x16 square with 1 dot of purple, with 2 dots of purple, with 3 dots of purple.
Oh, wow.
I'm right at the middle now and transitioning. So this is going to be a 17-step gradient going
And
into
so at the top, it'll be totally purple.
purple. Yeah.
I love that.
It's great.
I was inspired by this like vaporwave sunset poster thing I saw. and then I had another thingy that is waiting for the top of the hat. Oh, Tim, could you hand me that? Sorry to keep doing things to you. I'm not actually sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry, right?
But yeah. So this, and then this is waiting for its top.
Oh, cool.
Oh my
Yeah, yeah.
gosh.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
nice.
cute.
Oh, wow.
Very cool.
So that's an 7-step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, this is a 7-step gradient in 3 colors. But it's about as tall as it needs to be now. So it'll turn to these yarns are very, very different. This is UU yarn, the sport weight UU yarn, which, speaking of twists, you can see. I know you cannot see. Maybe? No, I need a darker one. Now maybe you can see? No. Well, there, you can see.
We can see it. We can see it against the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much twist is in this?
Yeah.
That twist angle is very severe.
Yes.
You see.
Yes.
Yeah.
I often do lessons on this yarn. Because it you could pull it out and re-knit it and pull it out and recrochet it so many times, and it's not going to turn into like pills and disintegrate because it's a worsted yarn with a very tight spin. So there is basically zero room for air in this yarn.
As opposed to error.
Yes, there's room for
Yeah.
air.
Lots of
and
room
that's
for
a-
air, no room for air.
And that's a
Yes.
DK weight yarn?
Come again?
That's a DK weight yarn?
This is a sport weight.
Sport weight?
Yeah. UU makes 4 weights of yarn, and they're all an identical construction. They all have that same high twist, and people look at them and like there's a bulky. This color is called teal heather. There was a question in chat.
Yep, thank you.
Teal heather. What on earth was I going to say though? Oh, there's a bulky in the line that looks like it might be an Aran. It looks like a heavy worsted because there's so much twist in it. But when you work it up and compare it to the actual worsted, the worsted swatch is this big and the other swatch is this big because there's a lot of fiber in it. And so when you knit it to gauge, it stands up to it.
It's heavy, yeah.
And it's heavy, yeah.
Well,
Yarn is
nice,
interesting.
thank you.
But that's what I'm up to. So I'm thinking once I'm sort of testing out this gradient, and then I might size it up to a cardigan and just figure out how many rows to get a fully dithered ombre cardigan.
Yeah.
So,
I love that idea. I've done a gradient ombre kind of a pattern with socks before,
mhm,
which is lots of fun because you start the toe with one color
yeah.
and then you work up and you end the cuff with a different color. But I think it'd be great in a cardigan or a sweater.
Yeah. So, and I like.
It's interesting.
Oh, go ahead.
It's interesting looking at the hat, how the actual, I know you're just doing the same stitch pattern, but it looks like the stitch pattern. Of parts of it looks like X's, part of it
Mhm.
looks like dots, part of it looks like kind of
Yeah.
just a little diagonal line.
Yeah. There are a
it
few ways
changes.
that dithering happens. This is a type of dithering. Your graphics and called ordered dithering, where each thing that it would be that value is the same pattern. As opposed to some algorithms that create dithering where it would just be like, this is 25% of this value. So we're just going to make every 4th pixel randomly. There's a certain chance and it adds up to every 4th pixel being this color. But I did this orderly because it creates exactly what you notice. It creates these like visual
little patterns, yeah.
which are
Some of it
generally
looks
thought
like
to
little
be-
boxes.
Yeah.
Some of it just looks dotted. Some of it looks like little X's and then bigger X's.
Yeah. So
It's really quite interesting.
those are generally thought of as being bad in like computer graphics of because they create visual artifacts like flashing and little X's and you don't want that if you're trying to make a recognizable picture out of just 2 colors, for example. But I liked it. I like that sort of, I did reduce it a little bit. If it had been a strict ordering, you would have seen like bigger lines. So I may swatch that to see, because I compensated it by offsetting some of the patterns throughout.
I really like it. I think it's interesting because it makes it look like it's a fancier pattern than just the 2 colors. It gives a whole different look.
So it's just like,
it's really cool.
It has a Fair Isle kind of.
Yeah,
it does. It gives that Fair Isle look to it. Like, oh, you're making the little whatever Peary patterns.
It's sitting in the like middle Venn diagram overlapping of like retro graphics design and color theory and like stranded knitting. That's just like, yep, that's my sweet spot. I want to do that right now.
Cool. Well,
go ahead.
I finished a sweater finally.
Oh yeah,
my first of the year.
You don't look happy.
No, I am happy.
Oh, okay, all right, good. Okay, good.
The only unhappy thing is that it's May and it's my first sweater of the year.
in the 90s now.
Yeah, but I don't know if I can really show it to you, but
Oh, it's
Wow.
beautiful.
That's nice.
it's Longfellow, which is a Brooklyn tweed pattern, and it's got these great pockets. I'll show you the pocket.
Oh, wonderful.
Nice.
So
Unbelievable.
Pockets are
here's
good
my-
in everything.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever knit anything for myself with pockets. And so now I've got pockets. And of course, it's May and it's 90 degrees and it's too hot to wear this. As soon as it gets cool enough, I know I'll be wearing it every day, all the time. So I'm very glad about that. And it was in pieces. I hadn't knit a sweater in panels in pieces for quite some time. And now I remember why. Because it was a lot of work blocking each piece and then sewing everything together. And then once I got it all sewed together, I had to pick up for the button band and block the whole thing all over again. And so it was just a lot of finishing work. The final product is awesome and I love it and I'm so glad I have it. But I'm looking forward to my next Phrancko so that I don't have to do all of that.
It's lovely.
Thank
It
you.
is pretty. And so which yarn did you use for that? Will?
Okay,
It looks very
um,
fine.
It is. It's a fingering weight wool. It's Knit Picks palette. Knit Picks
Okay,
palette,
all
which
right.
I love that yarn. It's a standard for me, and it's just black. It's just the plain black color. But that cardigan will get a ton of wear as soon as it cools off enough for me to wear it.
That's the
Yeah.
truth.
And what size needles did you use when you knit it?
Oh, I think I was on 3s and 5s.
Okay.
It's
So
fairly diagonal.
5s, and then the ribbing and the button bands on, and maybe the pockets too. I can't remember. Were on 3s. Yeah.
Well, knitting a sweater like that on the little tiny bit bigger needles, it does make for a more open, airy,
Yes.
lighter sweater rather than a heavy, dense.
Absolutely. Which will be good because it means I'll be able to wear it earlier in the
More
year.
earlier
Yes.
and
Or if I ever go somewhere where I know the air conditioning might be too strong, maybe I could wear it
Yes.
And go see a movie.
and yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then
Mm,
wear it over
mhm.
a t-shirt or something. Yeah.
walk
The
down the
difference
frozen food aisle.
Yeah.
Planning for a sweater in the Central Valley of California versus planning for a sweater in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Very different
Right.
experiences. Yes. Very.
So I think I could probably do palette and knit my sweater on 3s, the body,
Yes.
and the ribbing on 1s.
On ones. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you'd have a heavier garment more suited to where you live. Yeah.
Yeah. As it's still been 40 degrees some mornings, although it's getting
Yes.
better.
The heat went on this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, our heat
Yes.
has been on.
it did. Yeah.
Well, and I'm a little colder than you, Wally.
Yeah. And it's been damp here all day. It's cloudy and drizzly.
Yeah, we having rain.
Yeah. But I did go to a fiber fest. So,
Ooh,
Oh, fun.
What's
yes.
your report?
yeah.
It's all hand dyed yarn. These people in the area. I bought 2. This was one of them. Sock
Oh,
yarn.
beautiful. Beautiful. Is it green?
It's like gold and stuff.
Gold. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
It's
Love.
80 merino, 10 cashmere, and 10% nylon.
Ooh.
Fabulous.
MCN.
Yeah, that's it. And I got.
And who is it by?
Let's see. It's called. Let's see. It's lamb string yarn.
Oh.
So,
And I'm going to interrupt you just long enough to greet Mary,
okay.
Oh.
Very.
Here we go.
who has appeared as her name. So we'll see what happens from here.
Yeah.
What else did you grab?
And I got that color is called fawn.
Fawn.
And This one's from Tina's Toasty Toes. And
Great name.
yes, it's maple sugar, and this was 75% merino and 25% nylon. So
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
yeah, very
Very
pretty.
nice.
So it was very nice. So one lady had a whole shop full of psychedelic colors, but I didn't. And I'm not into that. So
You restrained yourself?
yes, I restrain myself. And it ever seems like every year this Fiber Fest comes, it rains. These poor people,
Oh.
end up in the rain.
I think this year it wouldn't have mattered. Whatever day they come, it's gonna rain.
I know. I mean, years ago they used to have it in the barn, and then they stopped doing it. I don't know why. So, well, that's what it is. It's a Halleckville farm. That's what it is. So.
Oh, I forgot to mention when I was showing off my hat. The yarn is 100% cashmere. It is.
Whoa.
Oh,
I'm treating
Whoa.
myself.
Yeah.
yes.
It is.
Dang.
It is Serenity from Anzula.
Oh,
Oh, and Zula has such lovely yarns. They really, really do.
So nice, but it's dear. It's fairly pricey.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Tim
But
was like,
it's just a hat. It's just a hat. It's
Just a
just
hat.
a little piece.
you could have mistaken the hat band for a neck band when I just had that, and then Tim was like, "Are you making yourself a sweater?" No, there's no.
Yeah.
Have to mortgage the house.
Well, I already
Yeah.
own the yarn. It's here in the yarn shop. I've bought it and paid for it.
Yeah.
But even so, they're 50-gram fingering weight skeins, and
Oh,
they're
Like
beautiful. They feel so nice.
$75. Are they $75?
They're 47.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. For
That's
cashmere.
Hand-dyed cashmere.
For cashmere, that's all right.
It's so sometimes people will come in and just be like, what is,
yeah.
there must be a mistake.
No.
Yeah, no mistake.
No.
Yeah, I made a brioche scarf out of cashmere for myself that it was a hand dyed. Oh, just lovely.
It's beautiful.
And I still love it, and it holds up well. You need the cashmere comb because cashmere pills. I don't
Yeah.
care what
Yeah.
thickness it is, it's gonna pill, but it is lovely.
There is a very special traditional worsted spun cashmere from a company called June Cashmere that is beautiful, also soft, but worsted spun. It is. I mean, it's a hair. It's very so slightly halo-y. And I love it. I thought it was very, very interesting, cool yarn, but it doesn't feel as soft as more lightly spun cashmere because it's like from it. They sent it through an old traditional worsted mill.
Yeah.
That's been making worsteds for hundreds of years. Worsted again, the yarn type, not the yarn weight.
Yeah.
I'll start pronouncing it with an asterisk. But yeah, so I'm treating myself, and then I'm prototyping, and then I think I might make it into a pattern using Delish. I'm just experimenting with the dithering right now, because those are 50-gram skeins of a fingering weight yarn that I think would make beautiful, just vibrant color work. But maybe it would be a hard sell to be like, yes, it's your $120 hat. But that's for me.
And we're so worth it.
Probably too warm to
100%.
wear. I'll just like hold it. Like as I've been working it, I get the one sweaty hand.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
I'm trying not to press down. There's my inside.
oh, wow.
Beautiful. Just so even.
It's beautiful. I love it. Love everything about it. While I'm here, would you like to see Tim's feet? Don't get too
What
excited.
kind of a show is this?
It is a foot sample.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, poor Tim. He had no idea what I was talking about. He thought I went off the rails. I was about to get written up. No, these feet.
Oh.
You tell them about your
Oh,
feet,
funny.
Tim.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you guys all about my feet.
Oh,
I've been doing a lot of amigurumi crochet, and a lot of people go back and forth about what kind of decrease you should use.
Oh, look how
I
cute.
decided to
Very
do a whole
good.
bunch of permutations of and variations on decreases to see which ones I like the best.
It's a kick line.
Oh.
Cool.
I
a
cover
how
it.
swatch
cute.
of feet.
Yeah.
that's cute.
Feet.
So I think my favorite for amigurumi crochet is probably some variation on the invisible decrease, because while it's not good on something that you'll see both sides of, if it's hidden on the inside of something, it's pretty good at hiding a gap and not looking like anything. So
in the meantime, Tim has made a very surreal bunting.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, but that's
I might-
really cool to where you can
We-
look at him and compare
Yeah.
and see. It's
Yep.
like, okay, here's what this one looks like. Here's what this one looks like. Which one do I
Yeah.
want to do?
and
Yeah.
each one, the stitches will, sit differently with the decrease. It's really interesting. So
and right now he's doing a pattern to learn jacquard crochet.
To learn what?
So this is going to be a puffin, I think. Puffin,
Yeah.
penguin puffin.
Oh.
And
here's this little beak.
body has this little triangle, like color work pattern. Oh, there's its beak.
Okay.
Oh, look at that.
All
Oh,
right.
cute.
So it's a method that is analogous basically to Fair Isle knitting.
Hmm.
Are you working over or stranding? Oh yeah, look, strands.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it looks similar. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
interesting.
So the stranded knitting cousin in crochet.
Ah.
Ah,
So it'll have a little patterned shirt.
Cool.
Look at that.
Always something new to.
There's always someone out there creating something.
Your hook.
There's new and there's old. We've been going through a bunch of stuff of my mom's as we clean out her apartment, and I found a pattern that I had not seen since it was the first sweater that I ever knitted when I was an older teenager and was
Wow.
first going to school. Here's what it looks like. It was this one here in the middle.
Oh, great.
I knitted
wow.
it in 100% Angora of a very fine, like a sport weight. It came in little teeny weeny balls, and the women at the yarn shop kept aside for me the amount that I needed, but I was the starving college student and I could only afford to get one at a time. And so I would go and get one little ball, and then a few weeks later I would go back and get another little ball. But I finished that sweater and I wore it, and then both my daughters wore it, and then my granddaughter has wore it. So
Wow.
I certainly did get my money's worth out of it.
Yes.
But it was I didn't realize I still even had this, but Mom had it in some of her stuff, and so it was pretty funny. The other thing is to show you what the pattern is like.
Oh yeah.
Is so weird.
Yeah.
This is the pattern for it, and it just kind of refers you, and this is the whole pattern for the cardigan or for the pullover that I showed you, and it refers you to, for for doing the back, you just do the same back as one of the other ones. And it's like for doing the front, you do the same back as one of the other ones. And then for the sleeves, you do the same sleeves as one of the other ones, but you quit at one place. And they didn't have the actual number of stitches or any of that sort of stuff. There is this little weird chart that you have to look at based on what yarn you're using, and then choose what it was. And it's the whole thing
Wow.
is only 5 pages long. It was $1.50. Of course, I got paid, I think like $3 or something when I worked, and so you know it was a lot of money at the time. And so, but it was so funny seeing how differently the patterns are written,
Yeah.
how differently things were done, and it was so weird. It was like, oh, you're supposed to use 14-inch straight knitting needles.
Oh, wow. They're a little long.
Yeah.
And does it specify a gauge? Cindy?
No, you just choose your knitting needles, and then for the size, you choose different size needles based on what size you want. And it was 4 sizes of the bust measurement. It was 32.5, 35 inches, 39, and 43. Those were the 4 sizes available.
Oh, wow.
That was all. So it was like so funny. But anyway, it cracked me up to find it, and I was like, oh, this was how I learned to knit.
Yeah.
That was so weird, but it worked out.
Yeah.
And for the decreases, they did a slip one, knit one, pass, slip, stitch over. There was no
Yeah.
SSKs yet.
No
This was from
SSKs.
1965. That's when the pattern was, and then for the right lean decrease, they did do knit 2 together.
Yeah.
So it was just like, it was so funny. Thought people would be interested in that little bit of funny history.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Change.
It is fun. My first sweater actually had PSSOs all over it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, fun. But the cables were all written out line by line. They
Oh,
were not
wow.
charted.
Yeah.
They were all typewritten line by line. Every single line had a different. And for whatever reason, they didn't just repeat it or say do this so many times. They continued to write out every line.
Mm.
You know, so the patterns were really, really thick.
I guess that's to keep people from writing in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We carried a yarn that would come with like a pattern book, a booklet for all the yarns of that season. It would have patterns in it. It was a European book, translated into English, and it was not friendly to contemporary American knitters.
Mm.
It was like, you know, an engineering manual. And Tim made a woman so mad once because he sold her that yarn to make a hat and the book with the hat she wanted to make, and she got home and the instructions didn't work. Just like, there's no increases or decreases in it. It just says to do this pattern. How long are you supposed to do it? Man, that's yes, it tells you to do the ribbing and it refers you to pattern A for the ribbing, but the pattern for the hat tells you to do pattern A for 1.5 inches. And we got written up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We no longer carry this yarn,
Yeah.
mostly because of the pattern. That was, she was unhappy with Tim.
Uh-oh.
These things
By the
happen.
way,
It's a very different way of writing patterns
Yeah.
from what we're used to at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The telegraphic style.
Yeah.
But you know, when magazines and like periodicals were the places you got new patterns, they only have so many pages.
Mm.
You have to squish that down.
Yeah.
And
Well,
just,
and I wonder too if it sort of comes from a culture where more people were knitting So there were just, everybody knitted, so you could just ask
Right.
someone for help, whereas
Mhm.
now it's
Yeah.
not quite as common,
Yeah. Well, I think more advanced knitting techniques seem to be shared a lot via, I mean, the internet is the Cambrian explosion of crafts, right?
Yeah.
Learning and teaching and digital publications means your pattern can be as long as you want. Pixels are free, as they say.
Mm.
So you can write very long conversational line by line patterns that include tutorials. But if you're publishing a magazine, that's prohibitive. But it's also going to mean that your pattern with this like honeycomb brioche with lace sections and this strange collar is going to get rejected from a magazine because it's just too advanced to be able to share.
Yeah.
Many things going on. It's not
Right.
happening. You would have not seen like one of those sampler or like a Stephen West style stitch sampler thing in a magazine. There's just too much
Right.
going on. That is too many charts, too many new stitches.
Yeah.
You may make a pullover. But now we can publish. And I think I'm often telling my new students when they're like, where do I get patterns? There's so many of them out there.
Mm.
Look for these things. If you download a pattern and it says gauge, meh. Maybe that person didn't put a lot of time and care into the pattern.
Right.
Even if it's a pattern where it doesn't matter, like a scarf or it just maybe don't download it because anyone can publish a pattern, which is great because anyone can put a pattern out there, anyone can create and share. By the same token, the bar to entry is non-existent, so anyone can do it. And so in my last knitting lesson, when I'm doing introduction to knitting, I give them like a sample pattern. Look for these things. If you're missing these things in your pattern, find a different one. Maybe trust that person. They might not be ready to design yet. They just had an idea.
Right. I tell people all the time, you can put anything on the internet.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and they can even take pictures from somebody. They're not supposed to, but they'll take pictures from somebody else. So you don't even know if the person that's saying la 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 is the one that did it.
Yeah.
Right.
Ah,
Right. You got to be careful. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. People, even some knitting tutorials online, I look and I go, maybe you didn't think that one through.
Yeah.
You don't do that. But anyway.
Tim, what kind of crochet hooks do you use? Do you ever use those prims?
The new prims are pretty good.
Yeah.
I mostly use Knitter's Pride, wood laminated guys.
All right.
Crochet hooks are nice because they have a similar pointed tip.
Yeah. Right.
Which is good for getting into tight stitches and manipulating them.
All right.
I like the prims for that reason. I've used them on introductory crochet classes.
Yeah.
For me personally, they squeak on my yarn and I slowly go mad.
That's why I was asking.
They're plastic and they squeak.
Yes.
And, if you can stand the sound of squeezing a cotton ball next to your ear,
Yeah.
maybe you're fine. If that makes you feel like you've got shingles, maybe don't.
Yeah, I have all Boyd aluminum, so.
The prim are very good. They're accessible. They've got a pointy tip, which especially for beginners or people who work like Tim on very tight amigurumi.
Yeah.
It's like having a pointier needle for doing fussier knitting. So we've got some prim sets here, and some people have shown interest, and then it also amuses me that they look like toothbrushes.
They do.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. They do look like
They look like
toothbrushes.
toothbrushes.
Yeah.
They're in a little pack. They've got like an ergonomic handle with a little stripe down the side. It looks like a toothbrush.
That's fun.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah.
It's too much equipment out there.
Cindy, are you working on something?
I am. I got my my stuff back last week for the level 2, and so I've finished my first swatch that I had to redo and seamed it. Look at how neat the seam is,
Very
guys.
good.
Neat.
Nice.
I did it really good.
Invisible.
So that swatch is
Yep.
done, and there's a couple more that I've worked on a little bit, and then I did a big swatch for the vest so that it will actually fit this time to gauge. So I'm working on that one too, and doing rewriting little bits. So yeah, that's what I've been working on.
Neat.
That's
Thanks
a
for
lot.
asking.
Good for you.
Does anyone else have anything to share in these last couple minutes?
Judith, have you shared?
Sandra,
Oh
Got
my goodness.
Go, Sidra, go.
I'm working on the sleeveless top. I have not much to show. I'm working on a picot hem. Right
Okay.
now I'm doing the yarn over knit two together, but I made a small swatch.
Oh, how nice.
Oh, that's
It's,
pretty.
Oh, nice.
I wanted
Oh, very
it
nice.
to be kind of a mesh pattern, but I did not. I wanted the holes to be aligned and not too biased.
Yeah,
So that's my small swatch.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
in
that was beautiful.
Sanisgarn thin linen. So linen, cotton, and viscose, but I don't know the percentage of each.
It's a matching headband.
It's very pretty.
Yes, it is. Very nice.
Came out like mine.
That's great.
Thank you.
Well, I think it's about time. Yes.
Yeah.
Any last minute thoughts? Words of
I-
wisdom, encouragement for everyone throughout the week? You can do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Have a nice week, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
all.
Yes, have a
Thank
nice
you.
week.
Bye.
Week.
Yes.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye.
Take it easy.
Good to see
Bye.
you all.
Yep.